Good day and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I'm your host, the voice of reason. This is a educational and news report covering the ongoing conflict inside of Ethiopia. So, as of today, what is going on inside of Ethiopia? As we see the Tigrayan Defense Forces versus the Ethiopian federal government and its allies, the Amhara regional paramilitary units based in the Amhara region. Now we are also seeing the Oromo Liberation Army, who was also engaged in conflict with the federal government for many years now. Now they would appear to be taking the side of the Tigrayan Defense Forces. It would appear that there has been some outreach efforts between the Oromo Liberation Army High Command and leadership and the Tigrayan Defense Forces and its regional Tigrayan leadership as well. And the two forces now seem to be coming to the conclusion that they must support each other. Maybe not in a direct military capacity, but in terms of sharing its possible operational strategy in terms of the total war effort to more align the two forces of focus on the ongoing fight against the federal government and obviously the Amhara region as well. But the fighting continues. The Tigrayan Defense Forces continue to press south towards the city of Desai. We continue to hear of fighting that is occurring from the towns of Wichale on up to Mursa. So the main area of engagements right now seem to be focused in and around the city of Wichale and Mursa. Now we did hear that there could have been a possible Amhara militia paramilitary counterattack, possibly with the support of some Ethiopian forces, regular forces, towards the town of Mursa. We cannot confirm the outcome of that engagement as of yet, as again the fighting is still ongoing. The Tigrayan Defense Forces continue to push towards Debre Tabor from the east of Weldia, pushing west as it marches across the landscape with the intent to get to Tana Lake in the vital junction, the road junction that connects Gondar with Bahir Dar. But right now, the main area of engagements that are taking place along the central front west of Gashina seem to be focused near the town of Debre Zabit and Nefes Micha. I hope I am saying that right. If I'm not, I apologize. But that is right now the main focus of combat for the two sides. Again, we continue to see the mobilization or the alleged mobilization of Ethiopian forces in terms of both Amhara militia and recruitment efforts that are occurring inside of and around Addis Ababa. Now, I wanted to discuss that a little bit in terms of preparations for conflict and where the two sides are in terms of mobilization. Well, the Tigrayan region, the Tigray Defense Force, has had the ability to mobilize basically for the past half year, and they have been doing so. We did not see the same kind of mobilization that took place in the Tigray region as we did with the federal forces and obviously some of the Amhara regional paramilitaries as well. So these units existed. Some of these so-called regional special forces, or basically more or less special police forces. They act as more of a full-time paramilitary unit. But again, please do not associate the term special forces to what we traditionally think of as special forces. These are just a bit better trained light infantry. But right now, it would appear the Ethiopian federal government and the Amhara regional government is kind of at the same place where the Tigray region was 6 months ago. So the Tigrayan Defense Forces has had a significant head start in accepting total mobilization and the concept of having to conduct what you could define as a total war, where the society is fully marshaled and all fighting age males are recruited in efforts to join the military and defend one's nation. Now, that did not occur in the Ethiopian federal government. Obviously, they were using Ethiopian army units, and they had not yet really started to conduct mass mobilizations. And it's difficult to do that sort of thing if the intent is to, in the perception of those persons being recruited, are to invade another nation, so to speak, and that would be the Tigray region. Now, I understand it's not a nation per se. However, it is a unique region, and the Ethiopian government would have been calling on peoples outside of that region to attack it and mobilize. So those efforts have been difficult for the Ethiopian government. Now, with the counter attack by the Tigrayan Defense Forces deep into the Amhara region, the Ethiopian government is just now really starting to call on for full mobilization. And unfortunately for the Ethiopian government, that call out, which has happened several times now, is in some cases going on deaf ears. Some people are responding, and in some towns, many people are responding. However, I do not believe the Ethiopian federal government is getting the type of response in terms of massive mobilization that it really needs. On top of that, these mobilization efforts seem to not be very well planned. And we can see from the types of troops that are being deployed by the Ethiopian army that this is a very ragtag force with very limited training. And we can say the same for the Amhara region as well. And compounding that, there does not appear to be what you would call a unity of command, meaning there is one general staff who is conducting the operations of the conflict. And it would appear that the Ethiopian government, the Ethiopian military, the forces that would be traditionally allied in terms of Addis Ababa and the Amhara region have fragmented. And there seems to be two different chains of command, one for the Amhara paramilitaries and regional special forces units, and then obviously the Ethiopian federal government. And then within the federal government itself, there seems to be a split that is occurring inside that group as well. Because of the setbacks that are ongoing inside the conflict and the decision making that was involved in both launching an invasion of the Tigray region and at the same time requesting a external despotic regime in the form of Eritrea to get involved in the conflict, and in some cases Ethiopian forces, Ethiopian leadership was taking direct orders from the despotic regime inside of Ethiopia, and the despotic regime inside of Eritrea. Well, I guess you could say that quite possibly Ethiopia could be heading towards a despotic regime, given the events on the ground and the look that is coming out of the country, especially in terms of some of the verbiage out of the leadership within the Prosperity Party and Abiy Ahmed. So more to come on that, and we'll see how that resolves itself. But I would say Ethiopia is probably moving away from democracy rather than towards continued democratic reforms. But again, just back to the military side of the equation, we are also seeing a lot of the equipment that the Tigray Defense Forces were able to capture when it expelled the Ethiopian military from the Tigray region, and when it moved into the Afar region and into the Amhara region, it captured a lot of equipment from the Ethiopian military. And now we are receiving reports and documented footage that a lot of this equipment is now being utilized by the Tigrayan Defense Forces. We have seen video evidence of armored vehicles, heavy artillery, and a host of systems now being put to active use by the Tigrayan Defense Forces. We are also hearing reports that the Ethiopian government is looking to acquire systems, and we've heard rumors of different countries trying to supply systems such as maybe tanks and other armaments. Now, when you accept armored vehicles or systems that you're not familiar with, obviously it requires a significant amount of training and prior planning before you deploy that new equipment. So any equipment that the Ethiopian government could be receiving, it's going to take a while for them to train on that equipment, understand that new equipment, especially if in fact it is new equipment that they've never operated before. Obviously that is not going to be put to the field immediately. And it would just appear on the surface, and all evidence that we have, the Tigrayan Defense Forces is definitely ahead in terms of mobilization, in terms of being able to take equipment that was captured on the battlefield or previously possessed and hidden away inside of the Tigray region, to take that equipment and start to deploy that equipment for the use on the active battlefield. And I think just recently we actually saw that come into play in Waldea, where Amhara paramilitary units were refusing to capitulate, and the Tigrayan Defense Forces had to bring in heavy artillery and other heavier systems to encourage those forces inside of Waldea to stop fighting, and that apparently has happened in Waldea as the Tigrayan Defense Forces continue to move south from Waldea. But right now, again, the most heavy engagements are taking place around Mercer and towards Wichale, on down towards as the TDF progresses towards the major objective of Dese, if it continues to proceed in that direction. And then obviously again towards Debre Tabor, with the fighting that is going on around Debre Zabet and Nefes Micha. Again, we will continue to update as we have information, but that is what we have for today. As we get information, again, we will report it. Have a great day, everybody.